Unfortunately, one of the biggest mistakes that we have and that we repeat is by confusing and conflating our worth by our financial wealth, our worth by what we have or what we acquire. Somebody's worth has nothing to do with their financial wealth or what they have, what they've acquired, or what they've taken, or what they've stolen. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with how they show up, how giving that they are in that energy of connection, that the affection and the compassion toward others. That is what somebody's real worth is about. It is about how they show up. It's about how one shows up to oneself. It is how one shows up to others. And it's particularly can be measured in the challenging times, in the difficult times, the difficult moments when there's been a disagreement. It's fairly easy to do on a good day, when everything's going your way. But in fact, every single moment is that opportunity to show up with warmth and to show up with kindness. It's just going to get noisy because there's going to be a train going by. We'll just let the train go by. And there's something about getting used to the noise of life. And if one can be still and silent even in the noise, if one can be compassionate even in those challenging moments, if one can think for one moment about what is it that might be going on for the other person. Sure, you know what you want and how you feel and so on. Great, beautiful. But what might be going on for the other? And can you find the room in your heart to show up with someone, to somebody else, with that kindness? That is the bottom line of these things. Because this kind of compassion that I'm speaking about is both the foundation stone and the finishing school. People often think about compassion as something that is a very nice, warm, touchy-feely thing. And it isn't nice to have a cherry on top. And it is that. But it also has real depth and real power. I was saying that wisdom and compassion are the most rare well. The more you draw from them, the more you share from them, the deeper it gets. There's something that is unique about that, with that wisdom and with compassion. The more you draw from it, the more you use from it, the more you share from it, the deeper the well gets. And in that way, it runs deeper than any of the things that you can kind of acquire. Because everything else that you might gather and acquire, great, you gather and acquire it, but sooner or later it's going to turn to rust or dust, and you'll carry on accumulating it until you suddenly feel somehow kind of worthy. By the way, I'm not knocking acquiring things completely. Sure, it can be, gaining this, gaining that. It can be a lovely moment. But it's very important to know what it is and what it's not. And what it is whatever that physical material thing actually is. And of course, there'll be some things that give you a degree of comfort or a degree of a sense of achievement. Beautiful. But what it is, how is it that we're actually showing up? How is it that we're showing up to other people along this journey? What's all of that acquiring got to do with everybody else? Sometimes we do all of this acquiring and we say that once I've acquired this or that and I've been there like many other people, then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to help this person, I'm going to help that person. The other day, my young niece, who's just 2 years old, she was very warm. She was calling out my name. She gave me this big hug. She was giving me all these big hugs. I was actually standing up, so she was just hugging me around my knees. That was warmth and kindness enough. I'm not saying you're going to go around hug everybody in the street, but we all know that warmth and that affection that can come from somebody who has nothing, the child, the baby smile and what have you. We know how deep that is, or when somebody genuinely thanks us. How deeply that touches us, how it changes the vibration, how it somehow makes us feel very, 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 very special. And there's something about that when that does land, it lands, and whilst it might then soften, it's never lost. It has a completely different energy to the other things that we acquire. Of course, there are some things in terms of our basic needs and our safety, our security, that we go after and we acquire, that where there's a beauty to it. So there's a roof hopefully over our heads, and there's some warmth and so on. And if we have those things, and then being grateful for them is a beautiful thing, and it is a blessing. It's a great blessing. So the first thing is, if you have any of those things, to be grateful for them. If you have anybody who cares about you, or anybody who's ever shown you any love or compassion, to be grateful for them, whether they're here, whether they pass, to be grateful for them. But beyond all that, let's not confuse acquiring with what is real worth. Because otherwise the danger that can happen is that we're here but we're not present. Right? We're here but we're not present. We're here but we're not present to our friends. We're here but not present with our family. We're here but we're not present to our partner. We're here but we're not really present in the work that we do, in the business that we run. Or that we're here but we don't really care about somebody. We ask somebody how they are, but then we're not really listening. We ask somebody something, but we're just waiting to put our 10 cents, 10 pence worth in. It's a good moment, isn't it, to pause and to breathe and to consider where it is that you're at. I invite you to pause and breathe with me now, just to be still Just be grateful. Grateful for the breath in and grateful for the breath out. Grateful for being here. Grateful for being alive. Grateful for the people who are by your side, the people who you know. Because it's one thing, even if you believe that internally you're grateful, are you treating them as though you're grateful? That's the measure, isn't it? How it is that we're treating people. That's what it all boils down to. How is it that we treat people? Do we treat people with kindness, with care, with affection, with respect? Or don't we? Don't get me wrong, there'll be moments where we will fall down, where we will lose our temper, where we'll be upset, where we will be short with people, and so on. That's part of life. But if we're mindful and aware of that, it may well be even in that moment we're able to perhaps have a change of heart, or by the end of that meeting or that conversation or that catch up or whatever, or when we've reflected on it, we realize, oh my goodness, I didn't show up as kindly or as warmly as I could have done. And then one can hopefully set that right. Or we don't need to get caught up in what everybody else is saying in social media, or we don't need to try and get one over on somebody or what have you. We don't need to get involved, or that we do show up and we do speak and use our voice in kindness, in compassion, in togetherness. So that's my invitation to you, to reflect on how it is that you're showing up in every day and every moment. Now, that is a way in which you can show up with such riches. The real riches is, I have the saying that start every day with a large bowl of gratitude. Start each day with a large bowl of gratitude for whatever it is, whatever level of health you have, whatever level of life you have, whatever life age age you are, whoever it is who you have in your life, even if it's just one person who cares about you, has been kind to you. If we can start each day with a large bowl of gratitude, it means that we're not starting from this place of lack. And realizing that connection is more important than competition. And be it that you think about this in your workplace organization depends on people working together, and real togetherness requires real respect. Just think about like any kind of team, a football team, or this team, or whatever, any kind of sports team. Without real respect, there is not going to be the best and care, there is not going to be the best outcomes. So you cannot be an organization without that care. It is not possible. So be it that you're looking at this through a leadership lens and how you show up in the workplace. If you're running a business, if you don't genuinely care for your customers, then why is it that you're doing what you're doing? It is just a game of vanity, when actually it should be a game of service. Don't get me wrong, achieving the things that you're wanting to achieve in your own life and for your own stability and so on, fine. That kind of acquiring is fine. But one has got to know what it is and what it's not. And how is it that we're showing up in service? And ultimately, life is something that we experience in relation to one another and in relation to ourselves. So the question is, how is it that I'm showing up to myself? Am I treating myself with love, kindness, care, and respect? And how is it that I'm showing up with everybody else? And every day will present you with that opportunity, that challenge, or both, however it is that you look at it. I have a saying that your job is to do your job with all your heart to the best of your ability. And if you do, you in life will be the better for you being here. There's a train going by, so I'm going to say that again. Your job is to do your job with all your heart to the best of your ability. Life will go its own merry pace at its own merry way. But if you do, you in life will be the better for you being here. I'm paraphrasing it. But your job is to do your job, by which I mean your life's work. And the life's work is always the heart's work, whether it is you're a gardener, whether it is that you are that you are an office worker, whether it is that you are a construction worker, whether it is you're an administrator, whether it is that you work in tech, whether it is that you work in health, whether it is you work in customer service, whether you work out on the land, it is still the same job ultimately. Your job is to do your job. Whether it is that your job is supporting others, and whether you're not employed or whatever, or self-employed or running your own business and you're helping others, you're raising a family, whatever it is, caring for other people, or a combination of all of those things, your job is to do your job with all your heart, to the best of your ability. Life will go its own merry way, its own merry pace, but if you do, then you in life will be the richer for you being here. And that's the bottom line, how it is that we show up. And for that, you don't have to have all of this. You don't have to have all the wealth or the riches. And even if you have all the wealth and the riches, what is it that you're really doing? How is it that you're really, really showing up? To what end is that you're doing those things? Is it just for acquiring things to your own self-aggrandizement? Let me just say one last thing here. I'm not with this knocking possessions, things. What I am saying is don't be possessed by them. Know that everything will come turn to dust or to rust. Value it for what it can give you, the shelter, the support, the comfort, the ability to do this or that. Beautiful. But know what it's not. And there are going to be some things that only the heart can do. The warmth, the care, the kindness, the respect. I think I've said enough. It's time for silence. I'm just going to invite you to close your eyes for a moment and to breathe a nice deep breath in, a nice deep breath out. And that's in fact the dance of life, isn't it? It comes, it goes, it comes and it goes. Each moment comes and goes. We all come and go. And if we can appreciate just this dance and this movement, we have something and it goes, it comes, it goes. So if we can hold on to those things with something like the ease that we have, or live with them with the ease that we have with the breath, so I want to invite you now. No, you've returned to the breath, which is the most valuable thing. The heart, which is the most valuable thing. Because sometimes in all the pursuance and the acquisition, we forget the things that are really most valuable. The heart, the breath, without which nothing else is possible. The heart, the breath, and then the mind. The heart and the breath are sovereign, not the mind. So maybe just sit with this and then consider how it is that you're showing up, how it is that you might be able to just raise that vibration, that warmth. And you will know. Thank you.